All right, we're going to continue our recording. So, yes, colon cancer. There are tests that they can do where they look at feces to look at cells or blood or whatever. But also they can look at it using a camera, right? So it says colonoscope, right? So note the tumor visualized with the use of a colonoscope. So they're looking for the tumor. So if you've ever heard of a colonoscopy, if you ever heard of a sigmoid, they're just looking at the sigmoid colon. Colonoscopy, they're looking at the whole thing. So again, they can look and they can do a biopsy, they can remove a tumor. And again, with cancer, early detection is the best thing, because if they detect it early, they can get that tumor out. They get that tumor out, yay, those cancer cells hopefully haven't spread. All right. Okay. So alternate sites that can be used to create a new opening. Ostomy, like you've heard of colostomy bag. So here they're showing where they can get into the colon. Yes, sometimes people get these issues with their intestines. By the way, digestive problems, digestive ailments are like one of the most common types of issues. The digestive system, honestly, I think the digestive system is really fun. In regards to problems, that's one of the most, that system is one that has the most problems in regards to, throughout life. It's easy, like if you have irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have problems with diarrhea, or if you have problems with constipation. And so we hear about stuff like that. Now here it says the intestinal wall, erosion of the inner lining of the ileum. Look at that, okay? Often seen in Crohn's disease. I've known people where they've had to have sections of their intestines removed because of deterioration of the intestines. Constipation, frequent problem among older adults. Why? If that movement is not happening, now things are backing up. It says, okay. Constipation, it could be caused by other things: low fluid intake, dehydration, lack of dietary fiber. Fiber is so important. We don't absorb fiber, but fiber is so important for colon health. It helps clean out, it helps scrape the inside, helps with cleaning. There's actually link between fiber and decreased types of colon cancer. Also, fiber helps with the stool, making good form stool. So fiber is important. Inactivity can cause constipation. So movement actually helps with moving stuff along. Medicines can definitely cause problems with that. Depression, other health-related conditions. So there are different reasons for constipation, and constipation is not fun, okay? So diarrhea, of course, vomiting and diarrhea, those are something. Diverticulitis, you might have heard of that. So look at the intestines, and then look at these kind of like little balloons in the wall of the colon. Here, gastroesophageal reflux, or GERD. So here's the stomach. Okay. So here's the esophagus, and if stuff comes back up, okay, so it can be caused by different reasons. If that sphincter muscle is not very strong, or if someone has a hiatal hernia, and that's not good, because the acid can really damage the wall of the esophagus. Hepatitis, we're talking about inflammation. Hepatitis, we're talking about inflammation of the liver. So viral infections that affect the liver, most common type A, B, C. Vaccines exist for all but hepatitis C. So if you go into the health profession, you're gonna have to get vaccinated. Oh, here, hepatitis V transmitted fecal oral route. I just remember going, fecal oral route? What are they talking about? You know, you're taking poop and, no, that's not what they're talking about. But think about this. That's why washing hands are so important. Imagine, okay, I'm sorry for some of you, this might be like your worst fear ever. Imagine, you go out to eat. Imagine a person who works in the kitchen, goes to the bathroom. They go to the bathroom and they have a bowel movement. If they don't wipe if they might wipe, they might get some stuff on their hand. That's why washing your hands are so important, because let's say they have some feces on their hand, and let's say they go back into the kitchen and they're cooking food, right? They're preparing food. So that's how the fecal oral route can happen, right? And so certain types of hepatitis can be transmitted that way. Hepatitis B by blood transfusion, sexual contact, contaminated needles. Hepatitis C through exposed infected blood. Other forms not common in the U.S. are Hep D and E, right? Again, it would be problems with the liver. Hemorrhoids, we've heard of them. There are internal, there are external, right? They're actually veins. They're actually varicose veins. So blood's supposed to go back to the heart, and veins have valves to keep blood moving. But what if something happens to those valves and the blood starts to pool? So that could be a cause for a hemorrhoid, okay? And it could be caused by damage, different reasons. Oh, childbirth, hernias. Hernia, it's when the intestines are somewhere they're not supposed to be, okay? So here, people can get hiatal hernias. Well, it's not the intestines in this case, it's part of the GI tract. Here's the diaphragm, and here, if the stomach is pushing up, right, that would be a hernia. Inguinal hernias, over here, it's more common in males, right? Because there's the inguinal canal. Because really, in males, the testes develop up here first, and then they descend into the scrotum. So there's a part in the body wall that is not as strong, and and so can be torn, and then the intestines can go down. And you're like, who cares? Well, if that happens, the intestines can get pinched, they can lose nutrients, and then we can have damage to the tissue. So it's important to get that fixed. Okay, ileostomy, the cecum colon have been surgically removed, so they show that, right? Peptic ulcer disease, right? Ulcers can happen. The major amount of ulcers are caused by bacterium here, but an ulcer would be a hole in the lining, and you can have bleeding ulcers, so that's not good. So peptic ulcer, duodenal ulcer, gastric ulcer, so we can have different types of ulcers. Drug administration, so sublingual, that's under the tongue, okay. Oh yes, volvulus, that just looks horrible, where the intestines are twisted. Antacids, really, we use those a lot. They can neutralize the acid in the stomach, so they're generally bases. Mucosal medication, gastric acid pump inhibitors, you hear about that stuff again when you go into the medical field. Ulcer medications, laxatives, antidiarrheal agents, we hear about those. Antiemetics. Now some tests, alcohol toxicology, right? They can look at that, blood alcohol levels, carcinoembryonic antigen, whole blood plasma to look at cancer therapy, cholangiography, x-rays examination of the common bile ducts, cholecystography, gallbladder, colonoscopy, CMP. So these are these different lab tests that you guys could take a look at. Some abbreviations dealing with the digestive tract, so you guys can take a look at those also. All right, and I think we are done with this chapter. Okay, so it's Sunday, right? You guys are going to have access to this. And then remember, so we're working on this chapter this week. And then our second exam is on chapters 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe. 5, 6, 7, 8. Double check that. Yes, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the test will be up on Thursday. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.